let's go ahead and come to our yoga mats and let's start laying down today. If you have a pillow or blanket handy, maybe grabbing that for underneath your head or up over top of you. And like we start many of these classes, laying down, you can be in Shavasana with your arms and legs outstretched. You could bend your knees and stand your feet up near the edges of the mat in constructive rest pose. Maybe putting a little something underneath your knees. So many ways to make it your own. So go ahead and keep exploring until you find your spot today. And when you do, consider taking a sigh or two. Just letting go of your day so far so that you can step into this moment a little fresher. Letting the parts of your body that are touching the floor, let those parts be heavy, connected, grounded, if you will. Relaxing your body in such a way that the areas of your body touching the floor expand some more of the surface of your body. Makes contact like a melting sensation. Checking in with your eyes and ears, with the mouth, the throat, your nose, all the sense organs of the face. Relaxing the jaw, smoothing out your forehead. Continue this releasing and relaxing throughout your body in your own unique way. Become more aware of your breath. Possibly expanding and lengthening the inhales and exhales to a sweet and steady rhythm. Nothing being forced, more of a flowing. Once again, checking in. See if there's any parts of your body that are calling out to you for any reason. Just do a little investigating with how things are physically. And checking in with your energy level. You can imagine it like the battery level of your phone. What percentage would you be at? And do you have a full battery and you're ready to exert some energy today in our class? Or maybe you have to turn on battery saver today and just do a little less. If you'd like to set a dedication or intention for your practice today, feel free to bring something to mind right now. Let's take 3 clearing breaths. Inhaling through your nose, sighing to release. Keep going 2 more times. When you're ready, starting to wiggle fingers and toes. Maybe letting your head rock to one side and then over to the other. Just gently bringing more movement in. Maybe heading into a long body stretch. I think that always just feels wonderful. Arms and legs reaching in opposite directions. Maybe some circling of ankles and wrists. Maybe a big yawn. Whenever I say yawn, I just have to yawn. Okay, good, good, good. Okay, if you have anything underneath your head or underneath your knees, maybe moving that to the side for now. Let's go through a breathing bridge pose a couple of times. So stand your feet up, bending your knees, and then lift up the pelvis just enough, setting it back down with just a tiny tuck of your tailbone so you feel some spaciousness there through the low spine. Let's take our robot arm variation today. So the elbows will be bent, hands will be pointing up toward the ceiling, back of the upper arms, the triceps will be pressing down. Possibly scoot the shoulder blades together underneath your chest. And then check in with your rib cage here. If it feels like you're kind of flaring the ribs out, engage your core and tuck the tailbone so your low back makes a little more contact with the floor. All right, we've got our downward pressure through the feet and through the back of the arms. With the inhale, lift up your pelvis, reaching your hip points high. And then exhale, lower back down. Notice your knees as you do this a few more times at your own pace. Just see if they stay kind of still or if they feel like they're wobbling around. We've got a couple options. If you do feel like your knees are wobbling, you might grab a block or some other prop that you have in your space and just hug it between your knees so that they stay at a more regulated distance. You could try that. But we're just inhaling as we lift, exhaling as we lower a couple more times. I would suggest maybe closing your eyes so you can feel those little movements of the body as you lift and then lower. It's usually mostly for my sake to remind to say that we shouldn't avoid that little wobble, that little shake or wobble that happens when we're strengthening. It's not a sign of weakness at all. It's just a sign that we're strengthening, challenging muscles. Good stuff. Okay, come on down and then let that block go to the side. Hug your knees in toward your chest here. And just take a little bit of free movement, maybe hugging the knees in tight and taking just a micro rock side to side. Maybe straightening your arms out, letting your knees go a little bit farther away, and then taking some circle motions. Enjoying a little bit of massaging pressure there through the low back. All right. And then we will let that go. Let's come on up to a seat, either rocking and rolling a couple of times up and down the spine, or turn onto either side and press your way up through the fetal position. Right away when you get to the top, let's come to hands and knees for cat and cow. You can always grab a little extra cushion here for under your knees or some height under the hands if you'd like. With your inhale, lower your belly, lift your gaze and tailbone. Find your cow pose. Exhale, round your spine up, tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone, cat pose. Inhale, cow, belly lowering, gaze lifting. Exhale, cat. Keep playing around with this as you warm up. Inhaling to cow. Exhaling to cat. As always, add on any extra movements, maybe a little bit of a side to side or a bending of the elbows. All right, let's find our way to extended child's pose. Knees coming out wide toward the edges of the mat. Big toes touching there behind you. Go ahead and sink your seat toward your heels. If it starts feeling uncomfortable at any time, just come back up. Maybe your knees need a little bit of warming up. You can just rock forward and back a couple times. And just find a resting spot. So if that means your hips stay lifted and your forearms come down to the floor, that is just fine. If you feel comfortable going a little deeper, you might reach your hands out toward the top of your mat and then sink your head and heart down toward the floor. Make sure your knees are wide enough so that you can take some belly breaths here, some diaphragmatic breath, letting your belly expand with your inhales and relaxing everything with each exhale. Check in with any of your areas that tend to hold tension or any of those areas where tension just creeps back in. For me, it's definitely the jaw. My eyebrows give it away as well. And what about you? If you prefer, you can stay right here in child's pose. Otherwise, we're going to take a little bit of a flow here. Let's keep our knees out wide during this if we can. So with an inhale, let's rise up with the cat back. So we're leading with the shoulders, rounding our way up. A little bit of a spinal wave here, coming all the way up. And then exhale, lowering the belly, lifting the gaze a little bit as you float on back to your child's pose. Let's do that again. Inhale, rounding your way up with a cat back. Exhale, cow to child's pose. Go ahead and do that a few more times at your own pace. See if you can get kind of the feeling of a spinal wave going here. Just imagine it's happening, whether or not it necessarily feels like it. Okay, next time you come up, we're gonna pause at the top. Then we're gonna start to let the feet kind of come out wide, start to lower your hips forward. So we're coming to like a modified upward facing dog. Our knees are on the ground. And start to lower your way down to your belly. If it's comfortable for you to rest your forehead on the floor, that's an option. You could keep your head lifted or maybe place a block underneath your head for some more height if that's preferable. Our hands will stay next to the rib cage here. Head's gonna stay down. We're just gonna go through our leg lifts. So we're gonna keep our legs nice and straight. With an inhale, press down through the top of the left foot as you lift just the right leg. And maybe it's just a couple of inches here. And then exhale, lower the right leg. Switching sides. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, lower. Go ahead and do that one more time on each side. Inhale, right. Exhale, lower. Inhale, left. Exhale, lower. Now keep both feet down and we'll go through baby cobra. Inhale as you lift your head and heart. Exhale, lower. This time as you lift, pay attention to your shoulder blades. Inhale and rise up, hugging your shoulder blades together behind you. Exhale, lower. One last time. Inhale, rise, baby cobra, possibly tenting the fingertips. And exhale, right back down. Crocodile pose. Stack your hands or fists underneath your forehead And then rest your head on top. Let your heels splay out to the sides. Relax through the upper body. Maybe let your hips rock side to side a little bit if that helps settle the low back. One more nice big breath in and out. Okay, we're gonna get a little bit funky here. Let's come back up to our baby cobra-esque starting point. So the hands next to the chest. Go ahead and bend your right knee. So just the right foot is hanging out in the air now. Press onto your left side. So press into the right hand, turn onto your left side, bring your right foot down to the floor and come on up to a seat. So we're ending up in, it's called Janu Sirsasana. I forget what it's called. We just have the right knee bent and the left leg out long. I hope you can see that. Good. Okay. So if you didn't quite make the twisty turny of it, the left leg straight, right leg bent. Okay, let's take a little side bend here. So we're going to lift the right hand up high. Left hand can either reach toward the right side or right hip or slide down your leg, whichever feels best for you. Go ahead and take a breath in, lifting up. And exhale, side bend to the left. Right arm dipping down toward that left foot. Inhale, hand goes high. Exhale, side bend to the left. We're going to add on here. We're going to lift that right hand up. Plant your right hand behind you. I'm going to come onto my mat here. Plant your right hand behind you, and option to just lift a little bit and kind of turn toward the right side, pushing up through that left hip point, or option to come all the way up onto that right knee, or it's called baby wild thing. With an exhale, come right back down to a seat. Inhale, right hand goes high, queuing up for another side bend. Exhale, side bend to the left. Let's flow between those two a couple of times here. So we're inhaling, right hand plants behind you. Just breathe like normal. Left arm lifts, left hip point reaches. Just do what you can. We'll lower back down. Taking a breath in, reaching high with the right arm. And exhale, side bend to the left. This time just come back up to normal. I like to have my left hand on my leg for this part, but you do you. We're going to lift that right arm high again. This time bend your right elbow and bring your hand behind your head. So you're kind of holding on to your hand. And then we're gonna twist down. So bring your right elbow as close to that left knee as you can. Of course, don't force it there, just in that direction. Then with an inhale, open it back up high. So we're kind of doing an upward twist. And then exhale, downward twist. Right elbow toward the left knee. Inhale, lift. Upward twist. Exhale, downward twist. Good. Come on back up and release. We're going to come back the way we came here. So we're turning to the left, onto the belly, the right leg coming down. Let's take one baby cobra in between with an inhale, head and heart lift. And exhale, lower. All right, we're queuing up for the other side now. So the left knee bends. Press your left hand into the mat. Press your way on up and around toward the back. That left knee stays bent, and the right leg now goes long. Okay, taking our twists. The left hand lifts. Right hand is either on the right leg or reaching across toward the left hip. Inhale as you lift high. And exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale, lift. Exhale, side bend. Now we're gonna add on our baby wild thing. So lifting up, bring the right or the left hand behind you this time. Right hand starts to lift. Hips can lift as well if that feels good. And exhale, lower back down. Inhale, prepare for the side bend, left arm lifts. Exhale, side bend. Inhale, rise. Breathe like normal. Plant your left hand behind you. And lift that right arm, right hip. Baby wild thing. With an exhale, lowering back down. One last side bend like we're doing here. Left arm lifts. Exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale, come back up, lowering the arms. Take a moment here as we set up our twists, our thoracic twists. So right hand might come down to the right leg at some point. Left arm up, and then bend your left elbow. So we're just cradling the back of the head. Inhale, opening the chest, looking up. And exhale, twisting down, bringing that left shoulder in the direction of the right knee. It never even has to get close. Inhale, open it back up. Exhale, elbow towards the knee. We're going to the right this time. So the right hand comes down and then twist down and around to the belly. Whew. All right. When you're ready, pressing up to tabletop and then back to your child's pose. Take a few moments here, letting your body and your mind catch up. Just integrating everything we've done so far with a few more breaths. And starting to come up to tabletop. If you have your blocks and you like to use them, let's grab those so we can have a little extra support in our first downward facing dog. Hands up on those blocks or just up at the top of your mat. Curl your toes under. Start to lift your knees, creating that A-shaped frame with your body. Press through your hands and reach through your shoulders. Make sure your breath is flowing. Maybe bending and straightening opposite knees, pedaling it out. Maybe starting that Ujjayi breath or that victorious oceanic breath with a little bit of sound. That's that kind of Darth Vader-esque breathing style, like you're fogging a mirror, but with your mouth shut. When you're ready, bend your knees and look up toward the top of your mat, but with your exhale, walk your hands to the back of your mat. So we end up in a ragdoll forward fold at the back of the mat. So you might want to toe heel your feet out a little wider, maybe take a deeper bend of your knees. Breath first, and maybe a little bit of swaying or rocking. You could just hold this in stillness as well. At some point, experimenting with bringing the weight a little bit more toward the toes. So more weight is in the toes than the heels. Another kind of interesting experiment is to pull up on the kneecaps, like with your muscles. In turn, that should lengthen the hamstrings. Give it a try. All right. The nice deep bend of the knees. Let's tuck the chin toward the chest and then walk your hands up your legs, slowly coming to stand. Let's just get a good shake going at the top here. Shake it out. Maybe getting a little bounce going, lifting and lowering your heels. letting your arms start to move or whatever else feels like moving. We're just shaking and flowing, maybe a little jumping, twisting, getting the circulation going, moving any of that stuck energy. Okay. We're at the back of the mat when you're ready. Take a look at your feet to make sure they're a comfortable distance apart. Pick up all of your toes, hold them up there for a second, and then set them back down. Nice, solid base. Shift your weight toward the toes, and then with an inhale, rise up to the tippy toes in slow motion, like you're just ascending. And exhale, lower down. Did you ever watch that David Blaine guy doing magic tricks on the street? He would like levitate. Pretend you're him here. As you rise, exhale as you lower. I remember being kind of scared of that guy as a younger person. Just a couple more times, inhaling as we rise. Option to add on the lift of the arms here. Rising, exhaling to lower. Let's do that one last time, inhaling to lift. Exhale, lower it down. All right, if the legs need another little shake, go ahead. And then we'll start just a very simple flow today. With an inhale, arms reach high. Let's keep reaching high so we end up in a little back bend. So squeeze the glutes to protect the low back. Just kind of lift the heart. And exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Nice straight spine. Exhale, lower your hands down. Walk your way all the way out to your high plank. Hands to blocks or the floor. Take a breath in. And then exhale, knees lower, chest lowers. Let's do our feet or leg raises here. So forehead maybe touching down to the floor or a block. Hands staying planted next to the chest. Press down through both feet to start. So the legs are very active. Inhale, lift just the right leg. Exhale, lower. Inhale, left leg, lift. Exhale, lower. Option to lift both legs at the same time. Inhale. And exhale, lower. When you're ready, press your way up to tabletop. And then back to the child's pose of your choosing. So knees could go out wide, or they could get it a little closer together toward the center. You could tent the fingertips up, or even kind of crawl the fingers a little bit farther away so you get more of a stretch through the shoulders, the armpits, the sides. Inhale, rise back up, tabletop. We're going to bypass downward dog this time, so just curl your toes under and then walk your hands to the back of your mat so you end up in this that little frog squat at the back of your mat. You can always come up a little higher and just rest your hand on your knees if you prefer. With an inhale, it's forward fold, legs straighten, feet plant. Exhale, frog, bending back into the knees, heels lifting, little frog pose. Inhale, forward fold. Exhale, just stay here this time. Inhale, rise all the way back up. Join your hands overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Spend a few moments here cultivating this heart-centered space. Maybe doing a little cleaning of this space. I always imagine spending time at heart center and kind of clearing the cobwebs. And a clearing breath in through the nose, side out. Inhale, reach high, maybe going into a little back bend. Exhale, swan dive, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, walk your hands all the way out, high plank. Just one breath in here. Exhale, knees and chest lower on down. All right, you get to choose here. Do you want to do more leg lifts? You could do single leg lifts, or you could do baby cobra. Let's take 3 breaths, doing some kind of baby cobra or leg lift here. So inhale, choosing one option, lifting, and exhale, lower. Inhale, lift the part of your body of your choosing. Exhale, lower. One more chance here. Inhale, something lifts. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press up, tabletop. Exhale, one more child's pose. Let's have 3 breaths. With an inhale, rise up, tabletop. We're curling the toes under and then just walking the hands back to our frog squat. You can turn this into more of a malasana yogi squat if you'd like, maybe sitting on a block. You could bring your feet out a little wider and then bring your elbows into the insides of your knees, or you can take a few rounds through your forward fold and then your frog squat. So just some kind of squat. We'll have about 3 more breaths exploring the squat of your choosing. One more breath in and out. Inhale, straighten your legs, forward fold. If your feet were out wide, toe heeling them in a little bit closer. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, one last fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, join palms up high. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a few moments. And a clearing breath in through the nose. Sigh it out. Blink your eyes open. Let your hands come down. Let's do a little tree pose today. So if you want to find your way to a wall for some support, or if you need to come step onto a harder surface, go ahead and find your spot. Take a look at your feet here. Just let them kind of land, maybe about hip or shoulder width distance, and then scoot all of the weight onto that right leg, kickstand, and open that left knee out to the left side, bringing your little kickstand left heel onto your right ankle. And placing your hands somewhere, maybe out wide, or maybe at heart center. Find an unmoving focal point somewhere in front of you, your drishti. And focus a little more on steadying your breath and focusing your gaze. Not just like you're looking at that point, but like you're looking through that point. If you want more of a challenge, maybe sliding that left foot up to the calf or maybe even bringing it up above that left or that right knee. If you want to take hand or arm variations, you are welcome to. Maybe the arms go out wide or up high. We'll have about 3 more breaths. Fill those breaths with whatever kind of movement or stillness you're feeling. One more breath in. And exhale, lower everything down. Whew. Give it a little shake. And then we'll switch sides when you're ready. So bringing all your weight to that left foot, opening the right knee and right hip out wide. Find that little kickstand to start. Choose a hand positioning. And then again, looking through that drishti focal point. If you want more challenge, maybe sliding that right foot up to the calf or above that left knee. Breathing, focusing, choosing stillness or a little bit of movement. Let's have about 3 more nice big breaths. No rushing. Just about 1 more breath. And lower everything down. Take your time, shaking it out a little bit here. Let's just give our hips a little bit more loosening. We'll just do a little bit of side to side movement. So just step side to side, kind of tapping one foot. We don't get a lot of this lateral movement here, side to side in our yoga classes. So just kind of taking a moment here. You might even bring your hands to your hips and kind of feel like it just, you can tell so much more by touching the joint that's moving. Maybe you feel part of the glutes here, working side to side as well. Okay, slowing it down, come back to stillness at the center. Let's come down to the floor now. So make your way. We're going right to the back. Take your time, lowering down and bringing your knees in when you arrive. A little bit more of that free movement, rocking weight around your back and your low back, sacrum, maybe your hips, maybe your glutes. All right, let's bring the feet down to the floor. Arms could go out wide. Toe heeling your feet out just a little wider, and then allowing your knees to twist in a windshield wiper-like movement over to the right, and then up and over to the left. Just windshield wipering the knees side to side, a little bit of a twist, a little bit more of that nice massaging pressure at the sacrum. You might turn your head in the opposite direction that your knees are twisting, kind of completing the full twist, if you wish. All right. Maybe ending with a little happy baby, pulling your knees in toward your chest. If you can comfortably reach the inside or outside edges of your feet, you might do that. If that's a little too far away, you could grab hold behind your thighs and still just pull your knees in toward the armpits. And maybe a little bit of movement here, or stay still. You can play with it or just keep it keep it standard. Maybe you straighten one leg and bend the other. Playing around. A moment of embodying that happy baby spirit. And then any last movements, poses, or stretches you're wanting or needing, go ahead and move through those now. And then set yourself up for a nice, comfy Shavasana. Possibly grabbing something extra to go underneath your knees today. Maybe grabbing that blanket or pillow if you had one earlier for underneath your head. Cozy as you can get. If you have a preferred ending position, maybe your legs up the wall or up on your couch. Sighs, welcome anytime. Maybe making that kind of ha sound, releasing and settling in. For today's Shavasana, we'll have the invitation to rest your awareness in a certain location of your body, commonly the heart center or like third eye center or the center of your brain are common places. I find that it's really interesting to keep awareness on the tongue or the root of the tongue. I believe Indu Aurora was the one that I recently heard say that the tongue is the link between the mind and the body. I think that was the quote. It's kind of like the in-between. So maybe resting your mind there. There's a certain area of your body that you've been with more lately. You can really choose any part of your body. You could choose the entire body. It's really open-ended here, but choose something, somewhere that you can physically feel. Could be the rise and fall of your belly. Whenever you've chosen your place, let every part of your body release tension. Direct your internal gaze to the point of your body you've chosen. Sending your energy of your breath to this area as well. You can even kind of visualize or imagine that you're breathing into that spot. So even if you're choosing, your foot, you could experiment with a sensation of breathing the energy into that foot. If it is difficult for you to imagine or sense something like that, maybe choosing the rise and fall of your belly or something more tangible. The flow of air at the tip of the nose. Continuing this practice of one-pointed focus. If thoughts come in, go ahead and redirect your attention back to your focus point. You are welcome to stay here and continue resting just as long as you want or need. If you are ready to begin reawakening, do it slowly with a little wiggle of fingers and toes. Maybe letting your head roll one way, then the other. Yawning, stretching, sighing, exclaiming. Eventually choosing a side and rolling into the fetal position with your knees slightly tucked in. Taking a nice full round of breath in the fetal position. And then use the help of your hands, your arms to press your way up to a seat. Let's bring hands in front of the heart center, closing the eyes or just kind of downward, gazing downward toward the floor. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace in our actions, peace in our words, peace in our thoughts. Bringing thumbs up to third eye center. Let's close our practice with a little gesture of gratitude, taking a little bow forward together now. Peace. All right, everyone. Thank you so much.